Good
Hello.
morning, Michael.
How are we?
Trying to stay warm. How about you?
Yeah, doing good. Doing good. Glad
Ah,
to have another Friday, and I can't believe it. It is February. I have no idea how that happened, but I'm
February.
thankful
Yeah.
for it.
Yep. I have to say I was a little disappointed that the groundhog did see his shadow, that we have 6 more weeks of winter, they say. So,
Yeah, but a lot of controversy there. So,
well, I
I feel
know
like we
that could
need
be a
some
whole
good
nother,
groundhog controversy.
I know that could be a whole nother conversation. The fact that the one died before the day, like, did
Mm-hmm.
someone like murder him off or something to mess
Mm-hmm.
with it? Total conspiracy theory. So,
Absolutely.
total. Well, awesome. Everyone, thank you. Let us know where you're listening from today. Send us a quick note. Also, remember that you can send us questions in. And as we get in with Leslie today, we got people from Atlanta, which is not far. Hey, Alexander, not far from where Leslie is. And of course, our good friend Kat in cold but sunny Las Vegas. I don't even want to talk to her about cold but sunny Las Vegas. Yeah, they don't know what cold is there. Michael, give a quick 30-second of why do we do Experience Friday Live, and why does experience matter before I introduce our guest.
Yeah, you know what? As business leaders, you should always be looking at where to invest your money and your time, right? To be able to create revenue, to be able to lower costs, to be able to have a better business case. Experience is the way to do that, right? When you're investing in experience, both employee experience and customer experience, that's how you're going to build brand loyalty. You're going to retain your employees. All those metrics that are a little bit more than NPS and bottom line will eventually affect your NPS and bottom line. So why not invest in experience? It's a smart investment these days.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Well, I'm not going to waste any more time. So, with more than 20 years of experience in ambulatory healthcare, Leslie Baker currently serves as the Chief Experience Officer at Adjuvant.Health, which is powered by Allied Physicians Group. In this role, she combines her expertise in education, training, technology, process improvement, marketing, and leadership to create better employee and customer experiences. She's an in demand speaker at national healthcare conferences. And in case you're wondering, I love this. Grace and humility are the foundations of her leadership style. So, welcome to the show, Leslie.
Hey guys.
Hey,
More.
hey, I think you saw, Leslie. We have someone listening from Atlanta. You're just down the road in Macon, right?
Yeah. I say a hey
Yeah.
y'all.
Hey, y'all. That's right. We know Macon. I know we've shared a little bit. We know Macon really well. Have some dear friends down there that we've worked with in the past. But welcome to the show. Welcome to Experience Friday Live. One of the things that I don't know that you'll cover, but I think it's really good. Kat, who's listening in, your group works primarily in pediatrics. So I think as we're starting to look and we talk through that lens, you're dealing with pediatric doctors. And I think that's a really good place for this. So going to jump right in, give you 90 seconds to just give a little bit. So education and training has been a significant part of your career. How does this background play into your current role as Chief Experience Officer?
Wow. I think in many different ways, but what it really boils down to is I love to learn and I really enjoy teaching. Not middle schoolers, such as my son. Bless every teacher out there.
Bless them all.
Stay at school.
That's right.
But adults wanting to learn is such an awesome thing for me. And me getting to be a part of their growth. It's really an impossible to put into words kind of experience. And I think as far as a direct impact to my role, I have a passion to want to engage people to be in a way that could leave them better and more knowledgeable, more confident. Knowledge is power, more empowered to do great things. And My grandmother taught me that you should always leave things, and most importantly, people, better than you found them. So I feel like in education and learning, like I try.
So I have to jump into that because your grandmother tells you to leave people better than you found them. What if leaders really just did that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be so, but what if leaders just focused on that, in your opinion? How much would that change what's happening in the world and in businesses today?
It's kind of become a cliche thing, right? That it's all about the people, but yet we don't really make it all about the people. So, I think it would be amazing, like from a customer and an employee experience, just taking the time to really, really focus on just that, leaving people better than you found them. Be a novel thing.
And I think instilling that learning mindset, right, was what you're talking about, like your learning mindset. But I think that I've never put this together before, but having a learning mindset is critical in the experience space, right? That it's not about experience is not about checking the boxes for the sake of checking the boxes.
Please don't.
Right? Experience is about somehow figuring out how to get everybody involved to have a learning mindset so that your employees are always wanting to learn how to create better experiences for your customers. Your customers are always somehow wanting to learn more about your company and learn about what you can do and learn about how they can jump in. So yeah, just kind of engaging curiosity there.
But let's be real about that, because I Leslie, you said please don't, right? So that obviously is a grain of sand under your right, like. But Michael and I, we work across industries. It is a checkbox for so many organizations.
It is in healthcare a lot. Surveys.
I'm so glad you said. Right? Let's make sure that we get stars ratings. Let's make sure we get HCAPs up, right? Who cares if it's, maybe doing something different that may do something better for the patient that might not improve that. I think that's what's frustrating to me with healthcare. And that's why we love you, because you do have that maverick mindset of, no, it's more than just that.
Yeah.
There. I'm off my soapbox. All right. Michael, you want to jump into the next stoke?
Yeah. So for the stoke this week, it's a quote that's an anonymous quote that you've probably heard in different ways. But the most dangerous phrase anyone can say is "we've always done it this way," which is just an anonymous saying, right? And we've all heard it. We all, have either heard people actually say the phrase out loud boldly, right? Or somehow they'll say they don't say it, but their actions are showing that they're saying it. So my question is, what drives us to reimagine how to organize and equip team members to create better experiences? If we're not, if doing it always like we always have before, just saying that we've always done it this way, this is the way we should do it, this is fine. What's the driver that helps us reimagine how to organize and equip team members to create better experiences?
I just have to say, I love a good quote. Those who know. Yeah.
Yes.
They're on my signature line. I love a good quote. But I think, one thing for me, just as we were talking about before, is hearing people's experiences. I heard a parent talk one time about the 7 or 8 patient portals they had to navigate for their chronically ill child. It forever wrecked me. I actually was supposed to get up and speak right after them. They were a parent advocate speaking at a healthcare conference. I couldn't give my presentation. It was just, unfortunately, it's a problem we've had in healthcare for a long time, and we haven't solved it, I regret to say. But hearing that experience is, I have to equip our teams not to accept status quo, and so I I think we can learn so much if we just listen. And that's definitely one way. I think another thing that drives me is a continuous improvement mindset. And probably occasionally a bit of short attention span, not wanting to get bored, if I'm being honest. But really, that that continuous improvement mindset. There isn't a single thing that I go into on any given day that I don't think there's a better way to do it. Matter of fact, I sit here and try to rethink how you're doing your podcast. But no, I'm just kidding. So, but I'm not afraid of change. I may even be a weirdo that prefers it, but I'm perceptive enough to realize that most people don't like it.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're not my sister? Because everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, of course. I love change. And, yeah.
Well, and maybe it'd be helpful for us to look at when people say we've always done it that way or that's fine, what's their driver? What is feeding them to want to maintain the status quo or at least be okay with the status quo?
There could be many things. I know right now with what healthcare employees are dealing with specifically is the stress, fatigue and so forth. Please don't change. I want to go stick my head in the sand and I want to just keep doing what I'm doing. I can't handle one more thing. I think stress is a huge thing. And really the comfort level. And that's why I think education, learning and development is so important for an employee. It's going to give them that confidence okay, the security blanket, I can do this, and maybe you need to do it in baby steps for them. But I think that knowledge is power, 100%. So.
Exactly, like the sharing of information, right? So I was just sitting here thinking while you were talking, the powerless feeling that often happens, right? When I'm an employee, I'm a frontline person, I'm just doing my job, I'm taking my paycheck. I like my job, I like what I do, I like the people, but all this change that it feels like it's a top down, every however many months they just learn this and then they want to change it again and change it again and change it again and change it again without understanding a bigger strategy, without understanding the why.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's exactly it, Michael. That's what I was going to say. My style is 100%. I have learned over years. Speak to the why. Why on earth are we doing this? And if I can't answer it, the team's definitely not going to buy into it. So, I think that is 100% it. And often we say and do things, we just assume people know, and you have no idea what they came to the table with. And so, I think speaking to the why is going to bring that clarity and help them for sure.
Yeah, and the why that ties back to them, right? Like this can make your
What's in
job
it for
better.
Me?
Yeah, this can make your job easier. That we're trying to. We heard your pain points, and we are trying to solve for them. Hopefully, there's some consumer input there too, right?
Yeah.
But change fatigue is a thing. People get exhausted when you change all the time.
Oh, Michael and Leslie, I don't know if you got to listen to the one podcast where we had Lee Cockrell, who was the vice president of operations for Disney World. And very much what you're saying is what he said. Speak to the why, let people know why you're doing this. And when you do bring change, I think this is where this training conversation becomes so important, that equip them with the right tools. I know when my days at Disney, when I got promoted into doing managerial leadership stuff, they didn't go, and this is probably another soapbox. Here, we're going to promote this person. Now, they gave me the tools to be that leader. When I don't see that happening, and I love what I'm hearing from you is we've got to equip, we got to speak to that why. We've got to get them because I think people like you and I, Leslie, tend to think, oh, well, people just know that. So it's a step back for even me to have to. Michael tells me all the time, step back. Not everyone remembers this or knows why we're doing this. So I don't know if that speaks to you at all, Leslie, but
Well, I definitely try to pay attention to the signals for my team. I mean, that goes back to people being the center of it all, right? Like whether it's your employee or your customer, that you are really paying attention to them. And I've been very fortunate in my career that people invested in me. And so, I get it. And it's my joy really to get to make sure that they're set up for the most success they possibly can have. Unlocked potential for sure.
And I love that too. I just have to say, because I think I took Michael and I've had this conversation in the last few months. I took for granted those things that had happened in my life. My very first corporate job was in the Walt Disney Company.
Lucky
right?
you. Yeah.
Right. So lucky me. So I come out of that and I think, well, every company's like this. Right? Like I got invested in by so many leaders there, and then was very fortunate when I actually did move into healthcare to get invested in by a couple of amazing leaders. And I just thought that's what happened. So to hear when people, that's not like reality, I was like, what do you mean? And it actually breaks my heart a little bit because I was just so fortunate for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go there though, in terms of the education and learning, just to tie it back all in. And I love thinking about like a learning mindset and all of it as well. But what role does education, learning and development, what role does that play in creating better experiences throughout the organization for both the employee, for the culture, for the C-suite, for the customer? What's that connection there?
How many cliches you want me to say?
Bring them. Yeah, we need them.
Levels the playing field.
We've always done it that way.
Yeah. It levels the playing field. It gets everyone on the same page. We're all rowing in the same direction. It puts your mission, vision, values at the front and center. I think from that, it's just establishing who you are, who you want to be, where you're going, and getting everybody truly on the same page, and giving everybody the same opportunity. And from there, it's in their hands. And, I said it earlier, knowledge is power. And I think you said, Shawn, about leadership. When you have genuine leadership, and I emphasize leadership because a title does not make a person a leader, but genuine leadership that's bought in to how important it is to do this, the sky's the limit for your teams. And it really is in their hands as to how far they can go. And
there's, keep going. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
It seems like there's a couple of pathways too, at least, right? So there's the formal required learning of you must take these courses to be able to right? And that's both the legal stuff and the, you have to, all employees must take this training, and the employees go and they hate it and they tell everybody they hate it and it sucks, right?
Yeah.
And there are some we go to training and it's fine, right? But then there's also the elective learning, right? To be able to say, in terms of your annual goals, what do you want to learn this year? And how can we connect you with that? How can we design learning experiences? And maybe that's not just classroom training. Maybe it's shadowing another department, or doing a report about something that has nothing to do with your job, but it does your industry. Stuff that piques people's interests and helps them grow and learn in creative ways, and not just check the box ways. Yeah,
I try to push our teams out of their comfort zone when it comes to learning all the time. This past year, we did a 6-month book study with we have 30 plus office managers on a different way to look at customer service. And I mean, I'm in healthcare, and this book it may have had 2 case studies through the entire thing that had anything to do with healthcare, and it was other industries. But like, let's think out of the box. Let's look at other things, and asking them to sign up for leadership classes that are being offered monthly, because I need them to think about something other than COVID, for goodness sakes. Can we talk about something other than that? But I always tell them that, learning is personal. Nobody can take it away from you. And, once you have it, it's yours. And to your point about, other topics, I ask them all the time, what do you want to learn? Bring it on. Let's do this. I'm very open with whatever they want. And, I can push them out of their comfort zone because I put enough trust pebbles in their bucket that they know I do it because I care, and they know that without a doubt. And I think that's genuine leadership. That's the difference. Any of us can get a training, and we can put it on the shelf and, put it in our learning management systems, and everybody can check the box again, but that's not really getting it done.
When you think about experiential learning, if we're talking about achieving better experience, we should be creating learning experiences, not courses and classes, and right. And just thinking broadly about that, one of the things that I remember pushing one of our recent partners clients with was before I was even willing to do the technical training that they were asking us to do, we wanted them, I don't want to say we required them, but we pushed them to do a whole, it was 60 or 90 minutes, I don't remember, of I don't want to say empathy training either. It was walking in the shoes of your customers, literally. Yeah. And it was a self-paced learning handbook thing where they got in their car and drove around and came back as a customer and looked for a parking place, and then walked in and looked at the signage outside, and then walked in and noted what they saw. And then, I think, we had them do it. It was a healthcare thing. And we had them do it with crutches, or a walker or a wheelchair or just had them both walk literally in the shoes of their customers, but also had them talk about what the experience was for the people that were in the waiting room and the people that came out, to really have an experience that helped them learn. And then there was a debrief that was written out for them to do with the supervisor, right? So they could go through and just really debrief it formally and talk about growth. Well, that's much different than, here are the 5 things you need to do tomorrow, Yeah.
No, yeah. I ask our teams often in the practices to go stand on the other side of the front desk itself. And then just, what do you see and what do you hear? And what would you do differently? It's, you don't realize the stack of papers sitting on your desk and, what that looks like to the patient, or, the conversations that are happening in the desk a little bit away from the front, but it's all earshot because they're all fish bowls, So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's funny because we also encourage every C-suite, and every company we work with to go through those days in life of, because many times they haven't walked in those shoes. It's coming to that point. We try to keep this at 30 minutes. So we got one last question for you, Leslie. This is the hard one here. What experience trends do we need to be paying attention to for 2023 and beyond? It doesn't have to be healthcare. Any experience trends that you think we need to be paying attention to?
I thought you guys were going to tell me that. It's half joking, half truth. I really do hope we get a revamp of surveys. Anyone else tired of taking a survey for everything? we really need to get to a more meaningful, engaging method to get the data that we need to improve. I think we do get good data from that, but eventually people are going to stop answering those surveys. So I think that's one. And back to your quote that we've always done it this way. We need to be ready for a customer base that has different expectations again. And I don't really know what those expectations are going to be, but I think we're going to need to be agile, flexible, ready, whatever buzzword you want to put in there. I think we just have to be open-minded and, again, not stuck. I'm in a highly regulated industry. So, and I think that we've been behind in technology and mindset for a long time, or at least from my perspective. So I hope we'll see more focus in real engagement, less regulation. It's hard to say, but I can hope, right? And I think the final one is a remote workforce and virtual interactions in general are here to stay. So if we haven't figured it out better, go grab that brown paper sack, breathe in it, and then just lean in. So I think those are, some that keep me up at night and think about. So.
I love them all. Well, thank you so much. And for our listeners, if you want to get a hold of Leslie, you can find her on LinkedIn, Leslie Baker. And Leslie, thanks for being with us. If you'll hang out for a minute, Michael and I are going to close up, and then we'll say bye to you. So here we go. We'll close up for a minute. Michael, people want to get a hold of us, mofi.co, or they can go to my website, ShawnNason.com. You can always send us an email at hello@mofi.co. Don't forget about our podcast, The Combustion Chronicles. This next week on The Combustion Chronicles, we're really excited. We're actually going to have with us Michael Schultz, leading with service and hospitality. Michael will be with us on that episode, as well as next week here with us. We're really excited. We're going to have Ian Barkin. He's an entrepreneur, founder, and investor. Just another maverick mindset that we'll be talking about experience with us. Connect with Michael and I. And most importantly, if you play in this experience ecosystem we're talking about, we want you here on the show. So send us that note at hello@mofi.co. Michael, stay warm this weekend. And
absolutely.
We will talk later.
Yeah.